Well, Mary's a lady who works at my favorite local bar. She's got a soft smile and a soft heart, but her face has grown long, and there's a shadow in her eyes. Sometimes I catch her staring at the door. Sometimes I hear her sigh. One day I asked her why. She said, "Oh, little sister, it's the oldest tale there ever was. I could tell you if you have half the night." Seemed like yesterday, she said, but at least 5 years hence. I was working right behind this counter, making decent pence, and everyone here was chattering and bantering and drinking their fill. But when he strode in, they stopped their din even before he said good even. The kind of man all other men bid welcome, and all the ladies' cheeks grow hot. Well, let me tell you, I wish now I'd been leaving, but the fire cracked and I stirred the pot, and I gave to him when I was bidden. By those dark eyes, those merry eyes of the stranger, a tall man he was, bound inland from the north. Few words he spoke, but choice and true, bits of honey, rye and rue, hidden riddles there to test you. I failed and fell in love with who? The green eyes of the wise man from the north. Well, he played the rune, his game, his lute, with the ease of making love. And his words, they came inside me like the filling of a glove. And I cursed every verse, knowing I'd never be enough. In the steel eyes of the tall man, that stranger from the north. Well, his smile spoke of secrets he'd not bothered to explain, of places I could never go, nor ever hope to have been. And the lines around his eyes, they knew things I'd never know, and I could only dream what those ever-ready coals had seen. Those black eyes, they saw right through me, and I burned up cold unclean for the free man, the tall man, bound inland from the north. Well, his voice pulled at my heart like the wind pulls at the rose, and I wilted in his presence like a blade of grass bent low beneath the heat of summer. I shamed myself so, joining the fool's legions in the blue eyes of the tall man from the north. And his body was a sound vessel that could sail the world round. With every step he slew me, on long fingers I was wound, like a string, like a tail, effortlessly bound and found, broken in the ash eyes of the tall man from the north. Well, he broke my lily will like brushing down old spider's sill, and I crumbled right along with my gown, wanting for his ilk. I held up my head in vain, for I drowned and went insane inside his wake. I lost my wits, my head, my sake, my worth, and all I held he did take in stride, like little bits of nothing swallowed by the tide, like holes in the sand filled once and left again. Do understand how small and shallow they are. If only I could hide from myself, believe old lies, uncovered by the man with storms in his head and stars in his eyes. A tall man he was, rained down from some kingdom, bound inland from the north. Well, gods will have their sacrifice, so the lion eats the lamb, and great men bleed themselves with leeches, so I've come to understand. And I knew enough to know back then that he would break my little dam. A pauper, notwithstanding the splendor of the man, the tall one with a song to sing and power in his hand, eyes that haunt me, a man to taunt me, bound inland. Oh, he was a tall one, traveling from the north. Oh, sometimes I dream of running down the road where his path ran, a chance to meet his gaze and greet him like a friend, not like a dog greeting a god, just sniffing at his hand, a pat on the head and scraps from the can, lapping up lust and drinking in the dust of his caravan. Oh, how can he be just a man with endless eyes from everywhere? I ask myself, and I can hear the silence that we shared, that the north wind blew to me. It rings a deafened tenor in my memory. No room for other songs, just what I'll ever be. And so I choose to be alone, this gnawing at my breast. Unsatisfied, quite hungry, an ache eats at my chest, and the pain I feed it keeps me ready on guard from regress. Though I am good, I knew he would only keep the best. I wonder on what fair lady those golden eyes do rest. A bold one, I am sure, pure and sharp, who puts him to the test. Never faltered neath his gazes, matches all his ways. I wonder what he prays to her, that tall man, that stranger whom I served when I was bidden, unhidden, a given for him on his travels from the north those years ago. Oh, those years ago. Oh, I used to please folks more often when I was a younger woman. I wish you knew me then. I used to laugh more often. But I'm trying to rely on myself. I'm getting by just as we all are every day, getting closer to the coffin. And though I try not to, I remember my last wish and want and blossom, taken and tossed in awesome passing by the tall man, that stranger, that everything I ever dreamed of, the one with endless eyes from everywhere. And I'm still sitting here, Maybe that's the way it should be. He was from everywhere. Something like that. Oh. When she was done with her tale, she touched my face with a trembling hand. Know your place, my dear, and salvage what grace while you can, and do not sacrifice yourself for any other man.